Hello, and welcome to the last episode of Sports Hour for this semester. We'll be back next semester with Anthony and our special guest, Andrew Canada.
How you doing? Thanks for having me. I just want to say that I love the show. I watched the show last year when you guys were not on it, and it sucked, and you guys are on it now, and I like it a lot better.
Oh, we appreciate that, and we wanted you to come on the show to talk NBA with us because you're a big NBA guy.
Our guy Aaron is not here.
Yep, he's gone.
And it's good to have some positive feedback or good feedback. So to kick things off, I mean, how can you not talk about Kyrie Irving and the Celtics? They've just been tearing it up. You know, 18-3 start.
He's just letting himself go, and they're just letting him off the leash, letting him do whatever he wants, and he's giving them results.
Yeah.
Like he's playing like nobody's business.
23 points per game.
I already knew Kyrie was like that dynamic scorer, that amazing scorer,
Yeah.
but like he's showing and everyone had questions about him being able to lead a team by himself, because like when he did lead a team in Cleveland, but that's when he was young, and now I feel like he's starting it to his prime.
And I think he probably did learn a couple things from LeBron, even if he did feel like he was playing in his shadow, which obviously if you play with LeBron James, you're going to be
in his shadow.
that guy's shadow.
We'll get to him.
Exactly.
But like Kyrie's showing that this is his team. He can be a leader. He can be an MVP candidate. And it's very surprising to me because I didn't expect him to go off as much as he is, and without Gordon Hayward.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
So like, imagine this team with Gordon Hayward
it'd
playing
be very
with
scary.
Him. Like, that'd be
and
nuts.
I feel like, because you always worry when teams have an overhaul like the Celtics did, which is crazy for a team that finished #1 in their conference to have the overhaul that they did. But you always worry when they're getting a new group of guys how they're going to mesh. And I feel like even though, I mean, obviously they've done a pretty good job of meshing, but with that missing piece, Gordon Hayward, I feel like his transition back is going to be really smooth because I always see him supporting his team on social media all the time.
Yeah.
I think that he gets it, and
he doesn't mind. Like in Utah, he was the face of that team. Like here, he doesn't mind. That he understands it's Kyrie's team. He doesn't care. He's as long as the team's successful and they're winning, that's all that matters. And he's there to support.
That's not something every guy can do.
Not everyone can take the role of going on the bench or like just sitting there and letting their teams get a starting spot. Like
deferring to somebody else to run the offense. You know.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to Brad Stevens as well. I think he's my candidate for Coach of the Year. He's
a great
awesome.
coach.
He's awesome.
He's phenomenal.
He's the
especially
next
for how
Popovich.
young he is.
Yeah,
I hope
and
so.
you know he's bringing in these young guys. You know, like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You know they're stepping
Both
up
been
big
having
time.
really good years.
Yeah, stepping
Oh
up.
yeah, I feel like this was a good thing for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum because even with Gordon Hayward's injury, I mean it's really bad that he got injured early in the season, the first game of the season, but that allowed Jaylen Brown to get moved up into the 2 spot, allowed him to get more time. That allowed Jason Tatum, a really high draft pick, to get out there and show what he can do in his first season, and he's playing phenomenal.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like, I feel like obviously we were talking about earlier, you and me, about how the Sixers, I feel like, are going to be the face of the league because they have so much potential. I feel like right now this is one of the best places Kyrie could ever go to. He didn't want to go to the Celtics at first. It wasn't his top picks when he wanted to get traded, but he's got Jason Tatum. He's got Jaylen Brown. Aging Al Horford, but
he's got
that
Al
young
Horford's
talent.
still good.
He's been playing phenomenal
and
this
he's
year.
a good veteran presence.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, but all that young talent is going to really help Kyrie in the future, especially when those young players and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown hit their primes eventually. Kyrie will still be playing at a really good level, I believe.
And I think those guys, especially guys who, you know, on any other team would probably come off the bench just to start. With Gordon Hayward being out, them getting a chance to stretch their legs and get used to dynamic. I mean, once they do go onto the bench, or at least Brown does, I mean, their team's just going to be that much better for it. Because you're always going to have a guy on the floor you can depend on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Exactly. Coming to the Cavs now, I mean, they're finding their stride. They had a shaky start. They're up to 12-7 now. And LeBron James is just playing out of his mind. And he's still showing that he could be the best without Kyrie. He is, without a doubt, the best player in the world and arguably the best player of all time. And
I think for his age especially, I mean, you know, especially in the past 3 years, I want to say. Everybody's always been like, he was very good this year, but he'll start slowing down eventually, and he's
not doing it.
I saw an
He's not
article
doing
on Facebook. They were talking about how like this is probably one of his best seasons ever. It's not,
Oh, yeah.
like
It absolutely
Of course,
is.
he's averaged more at one point.
Yeah.
When he played in Miami, but that was like the scoring LeBron, the animal LeBron. Right now, this
Exactly.
is like I always said, LeBron has like 2 primes. He had like that monster scorer and like that killer instinct in Miami, and then this prime in Cleveland is his older, all around that floor leader.
Yeah, that's the thing
LeBron.
about him is he's really
He's
it's weird to
He's
say
so
that a
good.
guy his age, especially someone so good,
15 years.
is like developing. But he is developing.
Like he changed like the aspect of one part of his game completely after when he went to Miami, and then he changed it again when he went back to Cleveland. He became like that extremely experienced leader of a team, like the true leader who
Yeah.
does everything all around instead of just like that a phenomenal scorer and like explosiveness that he was in Miami. So
Yeah, it's just phenomenal.
LeBron's gonna be what LeBron's gonna do. I feel like he can play till he's like 40. He's gonna.
I think so.
I don't
feel
see
like
him slowing down.
I feel like it seems to me like he's a guy who takes care of his body.
Yeah.
Doctors have even said he has like the body of a young man still. Like he's
6'9", 250.
He's just nuts.
You know, it brings a lot of questions to me, and I'm sure a lot of people, you know, could he end up being better than Michael Jordan?
Oh God,
It's just-
I don't know if we have time for like this whole thing right now. I mean, this is-
You're right,
Debate
you're right.
Would take forever. That would
Yeah.
take so long.
Next season,
Next
when-
season we could debate about it because the NBA will still be going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough
I
debate.
just feel
It
like
depends on how you measure it. I
The
mean,
thing
you
that
can measure it in
taints
rings or
him is
whatever.
his record in the finals.
finals.
That's really what taints his legacy. Well, like his legacy or like what.
I think that
comparing him to
could be
Jordan.
like the argument against him. Would
People
be
like
his-
it's hard to determine. Like personally, I say Jordan is the best player of all time right now. But like
We'll-
LeBron
I
is the
think- I
best.
think you
LeBron
gotta-
is
we're
the
gonna
best
come back to
all-around
it.
player.
We're gonna come back to it next season.
Yeah, we
I
will.
guarantee you. And we're gonna put you on the show too.
Yeah,
But-
we'll get you in there.
Back to the Cavs. Isaiah Thomas, he's been cleared to participate in full contact practice, and this could be a turning point for the Cavs. You know, if Isaiah Thomas is back to healthy form, back to the way he was last year, I mean, it could bring some scare to the
It
Warriors.
would really bring another weapon on the offense, and it would really fill that little point at the position of point guard because Jose Calderon, come on, Jose Calderon.
Especially
Yeah.
with Derrick Rose too.
Yeah, man.
And speaking of Derrick Rose, like I feel really bad for him, man. As we were
Yeah.
saying earlier, I honestly think he's gonna retire. He's
Oh,
just,
he absolutely. I got the update on my phone on Friday. He's stepping away from the game to think about his future. He's not
done.
coming back, and it is sad because, God damn, he was so good. But it's just not going to happen.
and as you said, he's the biggest what-if player in at least the modern
yeah,
current
I
NBA
say, yeah.
history.
No doubt about
If
it. And that's always going to be the story.
I feel if Derrick Rose was still healthy, never got that first ACL injury, he would have at least 3 MVPs. That's my opinion.
He was. I always say he was
and maybe a
Westbrook before
championship.
Westbrook.
And maybe a championship with the Bulls. But I don't know. It's sad to think about.
yeah.
Really is.
Coming to another team in the East, you know, an upcoming team, the 76ers, and the emergence of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. They're off to an 11-7 start.
And they're currently getting their butts kicked by the Cavs.
Yeah, at this moment.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But Ben Simmons, he's
He's
an early
nearly averaging
candidate
a
for
triple
rookie.
double.
Yeah, 18, 9 rebounds,
Crazy,
and 7
crazy.
assists. You know,
We always
Rookie of the year. It's not even close
Yeah,
at this point.
at
It's a
this
long
point, yeah.
season, but at this point, I mean,
yeah.
it's
I
not
remember
even
when people were
close.
saying Lonzo's gonna win rookie there. I was like, you're sleeping on Ben Simmons. Like,
And I think Ben Simmons probably knew that, like over the summer. He was like, "Go ahead, I
Yeah.
don't care." I mean, I feel like that's just his mentality. But all that stuff is, don't look at me if you don't want to. I'm gonna be over here doing crazy stuff.
Joel Embiid
like it or
showing
not.
that he's got potential to be the best center in the NBA.
Joel
Yeah.
Embiid he's got it all for a big man.
Yeah,
He can pass. He can
Yep.
shoot the three.
His
he can
footwork
shoot
is phenomenal.
Mid-range
that's
footwork.
that's
That's
that's a huge thing.
His footwork for
for
a
me
big man
is
is
the
phenomenal.
footwork.
He's just a phenomenal.
Yeah, because
He-
that's
he can
I
play in
mean,
the post. He's strong. He rebounds.
these days when it's a guard-oriented
It's a point
league,
guard game.
a lot of guys, Mozgov, Pachulia,
Yeah.
come to mind. They're just bodies to have down there
Yeah.
to grab a rebound once
Exactly.
in a while, maybe muscle
Like
somebody
the
out of
center
there.
position has been like it's not in decline, but it's like less of importance.
Oh,
like, in this
absolutely, no
era of
doubt about
NBA because it's so fast paced. It's less gritty on down in the post.
And
It's
that's-
more shooting, more three ball.
And I think that if you look at big men like Porzingis
Yeah.
and Karl Anthony Towns,
I was just
those
about to
guys
Or
are.
even DeMarcus. Because like
DeMarcus
DeMarcus can
Cousins-
shoot.
That's true.
DeMarcus
That's true.
has good footwork. He
Him
can
as
shoot.
well. But with those two guys that I mentioned specifically, they are huge assets to their teams, but I feel like part of the reason is because they're big men who can do things that guards do.
Exactly.
And while they are phenomenal in the paint, especially Karl Anthony Towns, I think, with Joel Embiid, that's a guy who he just has that good footwork of the classic big man, of classic big man role, and he can
exactly.
do those things.
They're changing the
You know what I
game.
mean? And he's proving that you can play that way and still be dominant.
Definitely.
I love big men like that. Like,
I really like Joel Embiid, and I was happy when he got an extension. Like everyone said, he was gonna take a risk. I was like, if they're doing good, taking the risk. If he can stay healthy, it's gonna pay off because he's a great player. He showed it last season before he got injured.
knock on wood.
He was considered a rookie last year, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
He would have been probably rookie of the year if he didn't get injured.
If he had kept going, maybe.
He was even a finalist, and he played like what, 30 games?
Oh yeah, he's a phenomenal player.
No doubt about
Really
it.
great.
Moving out west, we got James Harden and the Rockets just rolling through with a 15-4 record. James Harden, 31 points, 10 assists. He's my candidate for MVP, no doubt. I love James Harden. I love his play.
Top 5 players right now, you would say MVP candidacy?
I would say James Harden, LeBron, Russell Westbrook probably because he still has such
Kyrie's
great.
not in there?
I would say Kyrie too.
In that order? Or are
I
you
don't,
just throwing these
yeah, I'm
out?
just throwing the names out.
Okay,
It's still early, but
I would
those are the
agree
guys.
with probably all those guys.
But I love James Harden so much, and then now Chris Paul is back, and they're working well together. They're
I
going to
remember
be
the first game he played with the Rockets, his debut. He didn't play well, but he's playing really good now. He's getting into form. He's getting into shape with the system and everything.
Yeah.
They're going to be a big threat to Golden State come playoffs.
I mean, I feel like I
see.
still believe Golden State is going to go to the
I
finals.
think so too. And they, I mean,
they had some losses that they shouldn't have lost, and they've had some really bad games, like when they played the Thunder.
Yeah.
They've lost personally, the Cavs. I believe the Cavs and the Warriors have lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to. Cavs lost to the Magic. They lost to the
Cavs
Nets.
had a rough start this
They had a rough
season,
start.
And honestly, I feel like people jumped on them when they were having a rough start, but I don't think that that's a team you have to worry about in the long run.
And like even the Warriors had somewhat of a rough start, like ejections early on in the season.
Yeah.
They had those bad games. They lost like to the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies were doing great, and they fell off. Stuff like that.
They lost to my Nets yesterday. Love it.
I love
Marcus
it
Gasol
too.
was pissed though. Did you guys see that?
No.
Marcus Gasol, because they benched him during the fourth quarter.
What?
He was like, if I'm on the bench, I'm not being valued. So we're gonna have
Yeah.
to see how that progresses.
That's crazy. Could
Marcus
potential
Gasol is a great player.
trade request.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Marcus Gasol,
He's probably an underrated big man.
Oh yeah.
Because I think a lot of the big men that we talk about are young guys who
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
you
who
know.
are
The
on
older guys get kind of looked over.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
guys like Al Horford, Mark Gasol.
Yeah.
They're still really good. Speaking of the Thunder beating the Warriors, I mean they're struggling as well. What are they, 8-11 or something like
The
that?
Thunder?
Yeah.
I was really surprising. Like,
That's another team that's going to take some time to get their
And
conditioning
I think
together.
that's all it boils down to is that, Westbrook. It was no doubt about it. It was his team last year, and I think that it still is his team.
Oh, yeah.
But now he's got these two guys, and even Jeff Teague,
oh yeah.
right? No, he's on the Timberwolves. He was on Timberwolves. My bad. But
Andre Roberson.
yeah,
He just
with the
can't shoot.
defense.
He can't
He
contribute
can't shoot, but I mean his
offensively at all.
defense is
Yeah, but I mean, in
phenomenal.
this league, defense is great, but you have so many high-scoring teams. Even bad teams like the Nets can score over 100 points a night.
yeah.
So you're gonna need every player to at least
No
contribute.
offense taken. They've been playing pretty
No,
good,
I'm
especially
a
because
Nets fan.
Russell
I
and
support-
Lynn are out right now. Dinwiddie's been taking the starter spot. Not bad.
I'm not saying
Caris
they're
LeVert.
bad. They are
Caris
bad, but
LeVert,
I support
Hollis
the Nets
Jefferson.
because they're a New York team, and I love Hollis Jefferson. I love Hollis Jefferson.
Yeah, I hope that guy develops more because that guy's pretty damn
Like if
good.
he was to develop offensively, and I saw some stints where he had like 20 points a game and everything. He's playing phenomenal. Like if he can do that consistently, like saying with Roberson, that would contribute to the team more because you need to have not all dynamic scorers, but at least everyone needs to contribute their most on offense because
Yeah.
that's what's going to win you
I'm
games.
not worried about OKC either. I'm not worried about the Timberwolves. Those are two
They
teams.
had a great game yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah, probably something like that. But
Wiggins, Butler, and Towns
yeah.
combined for 78.
really,
That's not bad.
yeah, they're gonna be. The West is just
The West is nuts.
I love it.
love
I
the
want the Timberwolves to just be good so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they're two core young players, and I really like Zach LaVine on that roster, and
Yeah.
I liked Chris Dunn as well. But if you got a chance to take Jimmy Butler like they did, you
yeah.
gotta take
It was
him.
definitely a great
But I
trade.
really hope that team.
It
does
was
well.
a steal. Well, I wish we could talk I wish we could talk more about the NBA, and I wish we could have you on the panel again.
Yep.
But we do thank you for coming and joining us while our friend Aaron is away.
R.I.P.
But when we come back, we're going to break down the NFL like we used to.
Yeah, just be us.
It's just going to be us without Aaron, and you don't want to miss that, and we'll be right back.
Yep. Thanks for having me, guys.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star.
I dare you to stand up here.
To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you.
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you. I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me
And me.
help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android.
This is awesome.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
creak in my neck, limp in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex.
Welcome back to the Sports Hour.
This is weird. Just us two.
Yeah, it is weird, but
So used to Aaron.
it's going to be nice.
It will be something different.
Without his input.
Well, I mean, yeah, his random input. And you speak up more, too.
Kicking off NFL Week 12, we had 3 Thanksgiving games. Oh, speaking of that, how was your Thanksgiving, Anthony?
It was all right. Went out to eat at a buffet with my mom, my siblings, and some old guy threatened to hit my little brother because he was a little fussy. He's 2 years old.
Jesus.
And my mom stared him down, and every time I was going out to get food, the guy just kept staring at me like this, ready to kill me.
Should have given him an elbow.
I was ready to be like, you ready to do something, old man? Come on. But he didn't want to do nothing about that. He wasn't about that life. But Thanksgiving was good. I went Black Friday shopping and everything. How about you?
That's good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I ate a lot of turkey, and I ate a lot of pie and some mashed potatoes. It was really good. And
I always look forward to leftovers, and there was only enough
leftovers.
leftovers for one day, so I was pretty sad.
I had about 5 turkey sandwiches before I left.
What the
It was
hell?
really nice. But the first game of Thanksgiving, we had the Vikings beating the Lions 30-23.
This win with the Vikings, like I said with you earlier, I believe the Vikings are a serious threat this season. And
Yeah,
Case Keenum is playing phenomenal.
Yeah, who would have thought?
I would have never thought that. Like last week, it was all about that one headline, Case Keenum versus the team that benched him for, I can't think of his name right now. Oh, Jared Goff. And right now he's playing phenomenal. He's led his Vikings to an 8-3 record, I believe, right? 8-3 or 9 or something.
I think they're 8-3.
But like they're just playing out of their mind all around. The defense is phenomenal. The offense is great. And the Lions, they got knocked out the playoff standing like right now currently with that loss.
They're still in the hunt.
And the Falcons got pushed in there. Unfortunately, I'm really mad about that. But like right now, this is a really good win for the Vikings. And like I said, they're a major threat. And they're a Super Bowl contender, no doubt.
Yeah. An interesting fact, Matt Stafford actually surpassed Tony Romo as the all-time leader in pass yards for Thanksgiving. I don't know how many yards he actually has, but that was just a cool stat.
Yeah.
But the next game, we had the Chargers unfortunately beating the Cowboys 28-6.
Why unfortunately?
Because that's not a good win for the Bills. It screws up the whole Bills.
Well, the Bills should have never brought in that rookie.
We'll talk about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will.
And their game this week, which they won. Oh, yeah, Aaron's not here, but his Chiefs lost, so we'll talk about that later again.
We will. Phillip Rivers had a monster game, though. He had 434 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Keenan Allen had 172 yards and a touchdown. Everything clicked for the Chargers.
Chargers have been playing very good after a really bad start this season, and the Cowboys are. I feel like this is Dak's sophomore season.
Yeah, what's wrong with Dak?
He's having that sophomore slump. Like some games he'll be really good, some games he's not. Last 2 weeks, I don't think he's threw a touchdown. He's threw like 5 picks in the last 2 weeks.
He hasn't been playing that well. You could see the absence of Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah,
it really takes its toll on the offense and the team. Yeah,
it's not that good. For the final game, we got the Redskins beating the Giants 20-10, with Jamison Crowder having 141 yards and a touchdown. So it was a big win for the Redskins. You know, it's good for their morale booster.
It just brings the Giants to another loss, and even down there to get a high draft pick. That's basically all they can hope for is a really good draft pick.
Do you think they're ready to move on
from Eli? I think it might be time for Eli to move. Shipped out of there because he's old. He's had a great career there. Not phenomenal, but he's had a good career there. He's got 2 rings as underdogs. They beat the Patriots, which I know everyone loves that they beat the Patriots twice. Yeah. So many jokes about them beating the Patriots. But Eli's time is up. He's really not. He's pretty much washed up. time for him to go. And it's time for them to look towards the future because they have Odell Beckham, and they just if they get a young, great quarterback in the draft.
You think Baker Mayfield could be that?
Possibly. I mean, and who knows about any quarterback, honestly.
Lamar Jackson could be there.
And it could even be like a high late round draft pick, like Tom Brady, and then you had Dak Prescott late in the draft, Derek Carr second round, stuff like that. You never know. Like they might just pick up that future star right away in the first round, and they might pick up a late round pick that might blossom. Or they could pick up a veteran like maybe Case Keenum did, like where he's just showing out this season. They could pick up a veteran in free agency or make a trade in the offseason and get like some veteran talent there.
Yeah,
and he'll
you
show
never
up.
know. Coming to Sunday's games, and the first game that we're going to talk about is the Buffalo Bills beating the Chiefs 16-10. But that's not the game that I want to talk about.
At least not right now.
At least not right now. Last week, though, the Bills took a terrible loss to the Chargers. I believe it was 54-24, I think. And it was a dumb move by Sean McDermott to start Nathan Peterman over Tyrod Taylor. And that cost them a win. That was a game that they should have won. And the Bills should be, what are they now, 6-5? They should be 7-4 right now. And that's going to end up screwing them over because that was such a dumb move by Sean McDermott. Nathan Peterman was not ready to start, and it was just 5 interceptions in the first half. It was terrible.
Out of 10 attempts, right?
Something like that.
10 attempts, I think he had 5 picks. That's just really bad. One, like you say, he wasn't ready. He's not like that rookie where he can just come in and be a star like Deshaun Watson or something like that. He's a rookie that needs time, that needs development, that needs a veteran to teach him some stuff. And he's gonna need experience, but not like right there. He can't just be thrown in there. And that's where the Bills did with him, and they paid the price. They took that major L.
Yeah. It was...
And one, I feel like they disrespected Tyrod. That might have hurt his confidence a little, but obviously he got the win this week.
Back.
I mean, he didn't play his best, but they still got the win. That's all they want is the wins.
People always trash Tyrod Taylor.
I like Tyrod.
And yeah, so do I.
I mean, he has some of his flaws and his difficulties, his struggles. Sometimes he can be inconsistent, but he's not a bad quarterback.
And a thing about Tyrod Taylor that I like a lot is our offensive line. The Bills' offensive line is not that good.
Yeah, he makes plays with his legs, and he continues to play with his legs.
And with Nathan Peterman, he's that pocket passer, and he doesn't know when to get rid of the ball yet. He notices
he's inexperienced.
He notices the pocket collapsing, and he's just throwing up a prayers, and that's where you're gonna get picked off. Rather than with Tyrod Taylor, he's got the ability to scramble out of the pocket, still keep the play alive, and that's what you need. You need Tyrod Taylor. He doesn't throw up. He doesn't have a lot of passing yards, but he still makes the plays. He can get the team to win, and
he can extend the drives with his legs.
Exactly. And
honestly, and also doing that to the Chargers, they're not a bad defensive team.
Oh,
and they felt extremely disrespected. I read that on NFL.com that some of the players, I think Joey Bosa and some of the safeties, they felt disrespected. That why us? Why are they starting this rookie against us? We're gonna show them. And even it's bad when a Chargers team, like the defensive players on that team, feel bad for the opposing quarterback that they destroyed his confidence and utterly killed him by picking 5 passes. They felt bad for doing that to him because he's just so dominating. And they shouldn't have done that. Like you said, they shouldn't have done that. I say they shouldn't have done that. It's killed his confidence. They got the L, and it's going to hurt your season.
Yeah, for sure. And this next week against the Patriots is going to be the biggest game of the season. We have the Patriots at home, and we absolutely have to win this game. There's no question about it. It's just...
and if you lose now, if you can beat the Patriots once, I believe you can go 10-6 because I don't see you losing to Miami, and I don't see you losing to the Colts.
I don't see it either. It all depends. It all depends.
And even if you do go 9-7, I believe the Bills can still make the playoffs. It depends about the other teams,
everything.
like the Ravens. If they lose, that'll help the Bills. It depends on the Chargers. If they lose next week, it'll help the Bills. It just depends. You could still make the playoffs at 9-7. When Kyle Orton brought them to 9-7, everyone was happy, but they missed the playoffs because I think that was the year the Jets were doing good with Fitzpatrick. I'm not sure.
It might have been.
But saying you can just have hope, and you can only hope for your team to play well, get the wins, and if you don't get all the wins that you want, you can hope the other teams struggle in the AFC. Because the AFC is weaker than the NFC, so.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Coming to the Chiefs, though, you know, Alex Smith didn't have the best game. Do you think he's done? Do you think the Chiefs should bench him?
No. I don't think they should bench him, but they weren't really using the running game. Kareem Hunt went from...
I told you Kareem Hunt.
I thought he was going to continue being phenomenal. Like he was looking amazing, and then he just went like downhill, declined this in the middle of the season.
I told you he was going to
fall off. The run game is what's killing the Chiefs because they had the run game, they had the pass, they had both sides of the offensive ball, they had the defense, and then of course defensive injuries, but still their defense was playing pretty well. But now that you take the run game aspect out of the offense and you have to rely more on Alex Smith, you're not going to get as many wins, and you're going to not be as good. And you're not going to put up as much points.
You're right. The next game we have the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons and Bucks. I was praying the Bucks would pull out a win, and it was not answered.
The Falcons beat the Bucks 34-20 after Julio Jones had a monster game of 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. And oh my gosh, what can you say about this guy?
I'd say he's the best wide receiver in the league. I'd say he's
you
better.
Think?
I think he's better than Antonio Brown. I mean, his career-wise, Antonio Brown has slightly better stats, but that's because Julio has been injured before. Antonio Brown hasn't really been injured ever.
Yeah.
So if Julio wasn't injured, he would be by far, arguably, without a doubt, the best wide receiver in the league. He is the best wide receiver in the league.
Julio Jones and Antonio Brown, they're without a doubt the top 2 receivers, and they show it day in and day out. Antonio Brown hit a monster game too, but we'll get back to him. The Bucks, you know, they're still struggling without Jameis Winston.
They've been struggling even with Jameis Winston. That's very surprising because, as we said from the beginning of the semester and the beginning of the show starting up this year, we thought the Bucks were going to be a problem because their offense looked nice.
Yeah, they did.
A lot of weapons.
Their defense isn't bad either, but yeah.
But yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. Every year is different. Every year is crazy. Next game, Bengals and Browns. I was hoping the Browns would get their first win.
Yeah, so did I.
I feel bad.
The Bengals beat the Browns 30-16. Joe Mixon went off for 114 yards and a touchdown. That's a bad win for the Bills too, and it would have been nice to see the Browns. We need the Browns to, you know, be a little spoilers coming on.
And you know
they're gonna need to help us win some games.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to you need the lower teams to lose.
Yeah.
Like you can't have the lower teams start racking up wins. And then you need the bottom of the barrel teams like even the Niners got.
They need to be spoilers.
Yeah, you need to be spoilers and upset. Even if it's 2 bad teams, you need the worst team to beat the other team because that'll help the Bills.
Hopefully.
But even though they lost, Myles Garrett had a good game. He had 1 sack. He had 3 tackles and 3 QB hits, I believe.
Yeah, Myles Garrett is pretty good.
That's his 5th sack of the season, and even that's with injury.
Yeah,
so
he could be a candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He could be. He could, definitely.
Titans
and Colts.
Titans and Colts. We got Titans beating the Colts 20-16. Another game that the Bills needed the Colts to win this game, but Delaney Walker had 63 yards and a touchdown for the Titans. And the Colts, 3-8. It's a terrible record.
Colts, you gotta feel bad for them. I mean, 1, their management doesn't know how to draft. Second of all, their management doesn't know how to build around Andrew Luck. 3, Andrew Luck is out and
he's done for the year.
He's done for the year, and he hasn't played a snap. And he was out part of last year. Like his injury could be a really bad blow to his career.
Yeah,
really could.
And it's like, I mean, the Colts do have some weapons. They have T.Y. Hilton, arguably the most underrated wide receiver in the game.
It's debatable, but yeah.
I love T.Y.
I
Hilton.
like T.Y. T.Y. is really good.
And, it sucks for the Colts. Andrew Luck is one of my favorite quarterbacks, too. He's a great quarterback. And
I mean, he is a great quarterback, but his whole career, he's just not had a lot around him. So, like, I always say, like, he's not going to win a ring. He's going to be one of those really good players at the end of his career that's just not going to win a ring.
Yeah. Hopefully, either the Colts can build around him or
he'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, trade him.
That might be the best way to help his career and just help him as an athlete, just get him out of there. And the Colts would start from scratch, get some value out of him. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff that can happen with the Colts.
Next game, we have the New England Patriots beating the Dolphins 35-17. Tom Brady, another monster game, 227 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Tom Brady,
he's an MVP favorite.
I say he should be the sole person for MVP.
You think?
Man's 40. everyone said, man, he's going to decline. He's going to go downhill. Father Time is going to kick his butt. They took that big L to the Chiefs in week 1. People were like, ooh, yep, we're right. He's Father Time's kicking at the door. Tom Brady is number 1 in receiving and passing yards. Sorry. He's number 1 passing yards right now. He's got a phenomenal rating. He's got a bunch of touchdowns. I think he might lead the league in touchdowns. Don't quote me on that, but he's playing phenomenal. He's having another MVP caliber season, and he's 40. Like I said, 40. He's the oldest quarterback to be playing at this level. So I say he's number 1. And plus, they lead their division, and they lead. They tied for first in the AFC. So yeah. And Dolphins, they're out of the playoffs. I say.
Yeah, they dropped down to 4-7, which is good for the Bills as well.
Mm-hmm.
They have their quarterback has been out, Ryan Tannehill. They have Matt Moore now, and
Jay Cutler's out.
There's nothing to be worried about for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins are
and
not.
The Bills play them twice, so
You're gonna get 2 wins there. That's what I say.
I would hope so. Next game we got the Eagles just dominating the Bears, 31-3. Carson Wentz.
Oh yeah,
this is my pick for MVP.
I mean, if I have to say someone besides Tom Brady, I say Tom Brady or Carson. It's a toss-up between them. I'd say Tom Brady because his age.
Yeah.
But also I could say Carson Wentz because he's so young. It's his 2nd year. And he completely changed the Eagles. I mean, they did pick up some weapons. Alshon Jeffrey, LeGarrette Blount. They got Jay Ajayi.
He also had 227 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Carson Wentz is playing out of a whole new level this year. He's playing like an elite caliber quarterback. Like he's been a veteran for 10 years. He's playing like that.
And it's only his 2nd year.
Oh yeah, and he's just doing so much with that Eagles team. He completely flipped the franchise around.
Yeah, he's the heart and soul.
I feel like the coaching staff there is very well put together as well.
Yeah,
and they're
after
really
getting
good.
Chip Kelly out of there.
Definitely, and they're really doing good with his development, I'd say.
Yeah, he's really good.
Carson Wentz has the potential to be one of those greats. He does.
Yeah. There's the next game. Here's another.
Before we go back, really go to the next game, I just want to acknowledge and let everyone know the Eagles were killing the Bears so badly that they were playing tic-tac-toe during the game. That's how you know it's really bad.
What do you mean by tic-tac-toe?
They showed it in the cameras and on television. They were playing tic-tac-toe on the boards.
On the sidelines?
On the sidelines. Carson Wentz and like some other players, they're playing tic-tac-toe.
That's some disrespect right there.
That is.
But the next game, this is another guy that could be an MVP favorite. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks beat the 49ers.
He beat the Niners
24-13, but still, Russell Wilson has been having a phenomenal season.
I say he's one of those sleeper MVP candidates.
Yeah. He had 228 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. He's another. He's like Tyrod Taylor.
He's much.
Oh,
better
he's
than
way
Tyrod.
better than Tyrod Taylor.
But he's a better leader.
He's a Tyrod Taylor type player. He's a scrambler. He can get out of that pocket and he makes plays. I love Russell Wilson as well. He's so good. The 49ers, we got a taste of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, he got his first touchdown as a Niner. I'm glad they gave him some experience in that Niners uniform. I'm glad they let him touch the pitch, the field.
I'm excited for him
He's the future for San Fran.
Yeah.
And I believe with that experience he's got with Tom Brady and that coaching staff and the Patriots,
he could turn that franchise around.
He could turn it around. Yep.
And they're gonna get a high draft pick this year.
So that's even better for Jimmy to get some offensive weapon or even some more defense if they want. Anything's possible. Anything they could do with the draft pick on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I would say so. Next game, we have Jared Goff and the Rams.
That's another MVP candidate, I'd say.
You say?
Jared Goff.
The Rams beat the Saints 26-20. That's a big win.
This was a good win for the Panthers. Great win. Now it's tied for first, 8-3 in the NFC South. 2 games ahead. Both teams are 2 games ahead of the Falcons, and I'm really seeing bright future for the Panthers, and I could see them taking the divisional crown, and I hope they do. I really hope they do because that will give us a good. I really want the Panthers to get a bye week. I would love to see a bye week because I really don't like playing all 3 weeks because it's really frightening.
We completely missed the Panthers.
I know you skipped the Panthers. I was thinking maybe you're gonna save the best for last.
We could do that, but yeah, Jared Goff, he looked great. 354 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Sammy Watkins, I believe, had a touchdown, 86 yards and a touchdown.
With the Saints' loss too, like you have to admit, I like Drew Brees, and I hope he has a good career. But like this really good story for the Saints here was their rookie running back, Alvin Kamara.
Kamara.
He went off.
Yeah.
He went really off. He went, I think, 110 rushing yards possibly.
And 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. He went off. That man is going to be something special, and it's going to be something to fear when he's in his prime for the Panthers.
Yeah. We'll talk about your Panthers now. The Panthers beat the Jets.
That's good for you.
35-27.
Very good for the Bills.
That's a good win.
Greg Olsen came back, but unfortunately he got taken out because he had some soreness in his foot. But as NFL.com, they informed me that he is okay. His foot's fine, no lingering injuries. He'll be able to play next week, and I'm happy about that. Luke Kuechly came.
He recovered a fumble.
Touchdown recovery.
34 yards.
And Cam Newton, he didn't really do that much in the air, but his legs, he did great. He completely disrespected the Jets defender. He ran in the end zone. The guy went to go for a tackle. He just looked back at him like this, and then he just flexed on with the Superman. I loved it. I loved it.
The Jets didn't play bad though offensively.
Jets haven't played bad.
Josh McCown.
Jets offense isn't bad, and Josh McCown he's good. He is good.
307, 3 touchdowns, and this Anderson guy, Robbie Anderson, is that his name?
Roby, I think.
Yeah, 146 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's nice.
Isn't he a rookie as well?
I believe so. He is. Don't quote me on that though, but he is really good. He's a sleeper player. Like, not a lot of people thought he would be good, and he's shown up this season. Like, that's something the Bills got to fear in the future. Like Roby Anderson. Roby Anderson's gonna be something special for the Jets.
Yeah. Next game we have the Cards beating the Jaguars
with a game-ending field goal,
27-24.
That's surprising.
Blaine Gabbert, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns. Blake Bortles actually had 2 rushing touchdowns and 62 rushing yards.
Blake looking like he's Cam Newton, Kaepernick when he was good, or Russell Wilson on the ground. What's going on with Blake? I never really knew he could use his legs like that.
I never knew it either. But this is a big win for the Cards, and this is a big win for the Bills as well. And
if he can do it on the ground, quarterback, why can't you do it through the air? Come on, Blake. Come on, Blake.
I know, I love Blake Bortles.
I like him, and I hope the best for him, but even though he's a really inconsistent player.
Just give him time. Just give him time.
There's so much time you can give someone, though.
This is another team this is my AFC team that I thought was going to be really good, but are terrible. Both teams, actually. The Raiders beating the Broncos 24-14, but what happened to both of them?
Honestly, for this game, it could have been won by the Broncos. It could have been if
the Broncos dropped down to 3-8.
Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree got ejected, so that really hurt both sides. But the Raiders were still able to come off the win. Just like everyone, I remember Peyton Manning when they beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl. Everyone's like, "Yeah, Peyton beat the Panthers." I'm like, Peyton didn't beat the Panthers. The defense beat the Panthers. Defense can only do so much. Defense wins champions, but you need an offense. And right now, there is no offense in Denver. So they're not going to be good like they were in the past.
Yeah. Same with the Raiders. Derek Carr, he had 253 yards.
I don't know what's going on with
touchdowns.
Derek. I already knew, after this injury, I was like, give him some time to rest. He's out. He's projected to be out 4 to 6 weeks. They put him in a week later. He hasn't been the same since. So maybe he can have a bounce back.
He came back too early,
just
like you said. He didn't come back too early, and now he's paying the price.
Maybe he can have a bounce back year next year. I really hope so because I love Derek Carr.
Yeah, so do I. The Sunday night game, this was actually, in my opinion,
very good game.
Yeah, the most exciting game. The Steelers coming out on top against the Packers, 31-28, and Ben Roethlisberger went off. Same with Antonio Brown. Big Ben, 351 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Antonio Brown 169 yards and 2 touchdowns. Antonio Brown, wow! Did you see that catch that he had in the fourth quarter?
No,
where he dragged his feet. He had 1 foot in bounds, and then he just dragged his right foot.
Those are what the greats can do. Like last year, like in the Super Bowl last year with the Falcons, Julio had that monster catch. That everyone thought that was gonna be the game. Like Julio, like I said, all the great players can do it. Great wide receivers, Julio, Antonio Brown, AJ Green. People like that can make those type of catches. And even though I'm upset that the Steelers won, because I don't know how to feel about it. I'm mixed feelings because I really don't. I'm not a big Steelers fan, but I'm also not a big Green Bay fan. And they are in the hunt for the playoffs, and I don't want them to be in the playoffs. So it's good. But Brett Hundley finally had a good game. He finally had a good game. Everyone was thinking, is this the guy in Green Bay for at least right now? Everyone's like, this is our quarterback. Calm down. That's what Mike McCarthy said. Brett Hundley is our quarterback, and we're gonna stick with that. And he stuck with that, and he played very well against the Steelers. And the Steelers don't have a bad defense.
No.
They don't.
Aaron Rodgers was actually throwing the football around last night.
He was?
Do you think he could come back by the end of the season?
If he comes back, it's too late. There's 4-5 games left. Like, come on, in regular season, like, it's not going to help. Plus, like I said, the NFC is better than the AFC. Right now, the lowest the team in the NFC that's in the playoffs right now, if it was to end right now, is the Falcons, and they're 6-4.
They're 7-4 actually.
They are?
I think so.
I believe they're 6-4. Well, we'll check that out later.
Okay. When we come back, we're actually gonna predict our playoff, predictions
in the Bills, and we're gonna talk about hockey for a little and all that.
Yeah, and we're gonna give our thanks for
watching us.
Yeah.
For giving us any support.
So you don't want to miss that, and we will be right back.
On page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star.
I dare you to stand up here.
To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you.
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you. I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me
And me.
help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android.
This is awesome.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
a creak in my neck, limp in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex. They're the ones get
Welcome back to the Sports Hour. Like we said, we're going to have our predictions for the playoffs. As right now, the playoff picture is the Steelers, for the AFC, the Steelers are the first seed, the Patriots are the second seed, the Titans are the third seed, the Chiefs are the fourth seed, the Bills are the sixth seed, and the Jaguars are the fifth seed. So it could very well stay like this, but you have to think about the Ravens, who are still in the hunt, who are playing the Texans right now. The Bengals are still in the hunt. The Chargers are still in the hunt. Same with the Raiders. And, you know, those teams could very well knock the Bills out. And
for that AFC picture, you said you have a hard game versus the Patriots next week.
yes, that's going to be the most important game of the season.
But when you think about it, the teams that are threats to you, and like looking at the playoff picture now, like the Chiefs lead their division. So like if the Chargers were to lose and the Raiders were to win, they could be tied for first in their division with the Chiefs. That won't really affect the Bills. That will just affect the Chiefs because the Chiefs have to worry about keeping their divisional crown and have that playoff spot. Now, on the other hand, if both the Chargers and the Raiders were to win, that would be a big factor that would go against the Bills because one team has a threat to take the Chiefs' position and the other team will be able to take the Bills' position. So that's the thing that the Bills have to worry about is at least if one team wins, that's fine. But if both teams, like the Chargers and the Raiders in that division win, that's what's going to be the most pressure on them.
Yeah.
And if the Ravens win tonight, that's just more pressure on the Bills. And like the Ravens will actually take the spot right now in the playoffs because they're only 0.5 games back behind them in the playoff hunt.
And it makes me mad because the Bills should have never lost the game against the Chargers, and that's gonna.
I mean,
it's gonna screw us over.
It would have helped significantly if Tyrod was in the game. Would have helped significantly, but you can't focus on the past. You can't do it on the past.
Yeah, we just have to
focus
on
the future.
That's the biggest game because if we beat the Patriots at home, it's gonna open so many doors for us because we're gonna beat the Colts, we're gonna beat the Dolphins twice, and then we can.
You can afford to lose.
We can afford to lose, and then we can finish
10-6. That was my prediction. 10. You said they were going to go 11-5. I believe they would go 10-6.
They should go 11-5.
Like I said, they could still go to the playoffs at 9-7. Honestly, if you look week per week, you would have to look at all those other teams that are in the hunt. Right next week, honestly, like Cincinnati's in the hunt, and they're a threat too to the Bills spot. They're playing Pittsburgh. That's an easy win for Pittsburgh, I believe.
Hopefully.
Right now, you have to worry about Oakland because they play the Giants next week.
Hopefully the Giants can play spoilers in that.
Hopefully, who knows? And like next week, you can maybe and you can hope also that Kansas City loses because if Kansas City loses, like I believe the Bills would have a higher seed because. Right now, and they play the Jets. Like you don't have to worry about the Jets in the playoffs, honestly. So
no, they're done.
They're pretty much done. So like you can only hope like Kansas City loses. I almost say KFC. You can hope Kansas City loses. I'm hungry, and anyone else to lose in that's in the hunt. And I believe who's on the bye? No one's on the bye. The Chargers play Cleveland.
Hopefully Cleveland can get their first win against.
I don't see it, but
I don't see it either.
You
but
know. But like this could help.
Chargers they've been playing good ball right now, and they're gonna be rolling.
Another thing to hope for, like you can hope the Jags take the Titans spot in the division as well as the division leaders. Like that's possible because Houston plays Tennessee, and like Houston could beat Tennessee. Tennessee hasn't been all that great.
It's funny that the Jags and the Titans were the two laughing stocks at one point in the NFL.
I mean, when Titans got Marcus Mariota, I believe that was going to help them. And like the Jaguars, when they just completely buffed up the defense, and that's what helped. Like the defense is carrying the team.
Yeah. Coming to the NFC right now, we have the Eagles in the first seed, the Vikings in the second seed, the Rams in the third seed, the Saints in the fourth, the Panthers in the fifth seed, and the Falcons in the sixth. And you have the Seahawks in the hunt, you have the Lions, the Packers, and the Cowboys, and this could be very interesting.
Listen, honestly,
Let's kick them down to the wire.
The only spot that I could see that could be flip-flopped and changed is
The
the
6th
6th seed.
Yeah.
I don't believe the Panthers are 8-3 right now. Even if they were lose to the Saints next week, which I pray that they don't, and I believe they won't. I have confidence the Panthers, they changed themselves around, they can win. I believe that they can take the division crown. But let me get to that different story, a different time. Atlanta's 7-4 right now. Seahawks, they're 7-4. I really don't want to see either the Seahawks or Atlanta in the playoffs because I know when both teams get in the playoffs, both teams are scary.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when the Panthers went to the Super Bowl last and they beat the Seahawks, they crushed them in the first half, and the Seahawks were coming back. That's the thing I fear because I know the Seahawks, when they're down, they can come back and kill you. And when they're playing phenomenal, they'll just kill you right then and there. They're not like the Panthers. Like, I personally, as a Panthers fan, I know when we're killing teams, they take their foot off the gas. They play very conservatively, and they let teams usually come back and they play close games. Atlanta's not like that. Seahawks aren't like that. Personally, I would like to see Detroit take the 6th seed.
Hopefully. I don't know. I like the Seahawks a lot, and I think the Seahawks they're a good team, and
they are a good team. That's why I don't
fighters.
like them because they're threats
to
the Panthers. Everyone's a threat to the Panthers.
Transitioning to hockey for a little bit, the Sabres still continue to disappoint, and they're at the bottom of the East, and they're not looking that good, and it's sad to watch. It's so annoying to watch the Sabres now. Their defense is atrocious still. Evander Kane has been playing really well, though, scoring 12 goals, 11 assists with 23 points. Jack Eichel, he could be doing better with 7 goals, 12 assists, and 19 points. And he needs to be playing with Sam Reinhart, who right now has 5 goals, 5 assists, and 10 points. They need to play with each other because they play extremely well with each other. And that's what you need. You need Phil Housley to realize that. And it's so...
You look so distraught.
It hurts to watch the Sabres now.
And I remember, like, after I helped record the Fredonia hockey games, I'm like, I like hockey again. I want to watch hockey. But now when you keep saying all this about the Sabres, I'm like, I don't know, because I don't want to be disappointed every week.
It sucks because, they should be good right now. I mean, granted, we're still young and we're still developing, but, we shouldn't be at the bottom of the East. And Robin Lehner, I mean, he could be playing better with the 2.96 goals against average. And I don't know. At least the Sabres have Rasmus Ristolainen back after coming off an injury. And they could turn it around. They
could turn it around.
They could.
I don't believe it.
I don't know if they will, but at least their Winter Classic jerseys look pretty sweet. They look really nice. And
I mean, uniforms looking nice is all that great.
You look nice, you play nice.
A better record would
You look
be better.
nice, you play nice. And coming around the NHL, Steven Stamkos still leading the NHL in points with 12 goals and 26 assists. He's
MVP season?
It could be. He could win the Hart. And their team is at the top of the conference. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they're at the top of the East with 36 points, and the Blues are at top of the West with 36 points as well.
Vegas still performing at a high level?
Vegas, they're in second place in the West. They're on a 5-game win streak right now with 31 points, and they're looking
impressive. Very impressive.
Very impressed. I didn't think they were going to be that. I didn't think they were going to be that good.
Like I said, I don't watch hockey that much, but I remember we were talking about it, and I was very surprised to hear that an expansion team is playing that well at such a high level with people from the what is it called, the expansion draft. And the free agency, they really did a good job with this team.
Yeah.
And they could be a threat in the playoffs.
Alex Ovechkin leading the NHL in goals with 18. He could get 50. He's on quest for 50, and he's still showing everybody that he's still got it. And he can perform at a high level. And coming to goaltending, Sergei Bobrovsky leading his Columbus Blue Jackets and leading the NHL in goals against average and save percentage with a 1.91 goals against average and a .936 save percentage. And he's looking like a Vezina candidate, and he could lead this Columbus Blue Jackets far in the playoffs. In other news, the NHL recently turned 100 this year, celebrating 100 years as a league, and I just watched a cool documentary on it of how the history of the league, and it's pretty interesting
The
how
NHL
far
is that old?
It's pretty interesting how far this league has come, and hockey's it's so big in Canada that you would be surprised. Everyone loves it there.
I'm surprised it's that old.
What, you think it was older?
No, I thought it was younger.
Well, we're coming down to the end of our show. We would like to thank everyone who's watched us this past season. We cannot appreciate it more. I'd like to take a special shout out to my boys, Alex, Matt, Eric,
Everyone
Tyler,
in the studio.
Corey.
Thank you.
My Castling crew girls, Katie, Michaela, Jenna. I love all you guys.
Aaron.
We love Aaron.
We love Aaron. That
we
big
love
guy.
our producer, Melissa. She's been great for us.
We like our very obnoxious camera woman.
We love
Tala.
Tala. We love James. Who else who's I don't know where
Everyone
he
we
is.
don't know or forget or whatever.
We love our
you all.
e-board.
We love everyone
here
in the studio.
We love our e-board at WNYF. We cannot thank you guys enough for this opportunity.
It's been a great experience.
It's been so fun, and we will see you guys. Make sure you stay tuned for Cooking Wave for their series finale. You cannot miss it.
And we'll see you next
We'll see
semester.
you next year.